And of course, I medicated before I came, and I thought, I'm feeling. I was getting ready to go on a trip, and I showed up there, and he took me through a different experience. And I think I'm gonna let you share what that experience is, or how it actually works, or your form of doing it. And then he put me in this machine that that was squeezing on me and doing all kinds of different stuff as well, but not in that way. And we had a good time, and it was nice. And so Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into being a chiropractor?
Yeah. Growing up, I played a lot of sports and was always getting hurt. And my uncle was actually a chiropractor.
Okay.
So he was always, helping me get back to playing and doing those things I like to do. And that inspired me to want to help other people do the same thing. I'm always like to be active and things like that. I didn't want to go sit at a desk all day and stare at a computer and all that stuff. So that's what kind of inspired me to get into it. Nice.
And what's the name of your company?
It's Back to Action Chiropractic and Sports Performance.
Nice. And where do we find Back to Active?
We're in Irvine. We got a website, b2achirosports.com. You can find all the information there. So
I like, you didn't know this, but I had a Cali Cali Bushmaster a bar before I went there, right? And it's this CBD.
I thought I smelled something.
No, it's a bar, right? It's a CBD bar, right? And it just relaxed me. It was really nice. And so what is there a certain style of chiropractic that you study or that you do? Because it's just was different. I mean, normally, I'll be honest, I go there, they give me this weird shock treatment that's horrible. Then they get this roller machine on me that just kills me. And then I show up to you, and then I'm just like, a whole new world. I was just like, just in awe, right? So tell us a little bit about the way you do it.
Yeah. So I spend a little bit more time with my patients because I treat mostly athletes, which of course you're an athlete as well, right?
Top notch.
I'm a vocal athlete. Yeah.
So I mean, the type of technique that I use is just a diversified adjustment, which is to align the spine and make sure that the nervous system is functioning at an optimal level. So your brain can communicate with the rest of your body. The thing you're probably talking about is the percussion machine, which that is more for soft tissue. So pretty much my theory is you work on the muscles because the muscles are attached to the bones. So you make sure those are loose. And then when you adjust the spine and have all the muscles aligned, that your body is then functioning on a full level.
Yeah. So in layman's terms, for all you guys that are at home, let me tell you what this thing is, right? It's like a big machine that just shakes. Yes. And it shakes it. To the bone. Okay. And if you're in pain that day, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. Yep. And he's digging in on you. And it's going back and forth, and it starts loosening up your muscle, but it's so deep and it's so shocking that at first it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you're just like, okay, I don't want to be a wuss and just give up right now and just tap out. I'm about to tap out, right? And he's just working, and then he's just right when you're about to tap out, he goes to another location, and then he works it, and then it just loosens you up so much, and then he aligns you, right? I mean, then you just crack.
Adjust.
Okay. Then he adjusts you.
Crack kills.
Yeah. that it does. That it does. So he adjusts you, and then it becomes to a point where you feel like you're floating. Now, with that being said, have you felt that knowing that this is a cannabis show and we're bringing you on to talk about marijuana, do you think that marijuana helps people that have conditions? And I'm asking because I want a opinion from somebody that is a doctor and that has that.
Yeah. I think 100%. What I see a lot coming in the office are people on pharmaceutical drugs.
Sure.
That aren't helping.
Yes. Well, and they're making them worse.
Or masking it worse. Right? Masking it, making it worse.
Our society, I think the last stat I saw was 5%. The United States makes up 5% of the world's population, and we consume up to 65% of the world's pharmaceutical drugs.
Nice.
Wow.
I believe it.
Okay. So that's how.
And most of that's going to the athletes, probably.
Yeah. And a lot of it is kids, all the ADHD and
or
all
just
that stuff.
I thought for recreation, I thought there's just kids out there popping pills.
I mean, that too.
Like,
but
that's
like they were in the
prescription.
Matrix.
No, it's probably mostly prescription.
Blanket it
drugs.
in a beer.
Yeah.
But if a kid goes to school and he's, a little more active than the rest, give him some Ritalin, right?
Sure.
Calm him down. It's like he's being a kid. Like he's He's moving.
Right.
Like,
They're supposed to jump off the wall.
Yeah, he jumped
bounce off the walls.
He was standing on the refrigerator.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Or, if someone comes in with pain, they're taking some sort of Vicodin or whatever the case is.
Right.
So in my opinion, I've recommended people, I obviously can't prescribe to get marijuana, but I've recommended people, try cannabis, try it out, see if it's way more natural. It doesn't have the side effects that all the pharmaceutical drugs have. So why not give that a try before you go to
Absolutely. I think,
echoing my words.
yeah, no,
Yes.
I think it's important.
What can it hurt? That's how I started my mom. It can't hurt you. I swear it can't hurt you.
It's natural.
Promise.
It's
You
from
have
the
pain,
earth, right?
please.
Well,
And she did, and she's not in pain now.
I've been around a lot of people, guys, that have a lot of. I mean, people ask us on Instagram, and they swear that I'm a doctor or that I'm a lawyer, And I'm very clear about it because I start thinking lawsuit, right? I mean, I have two partners that are attorneys, and I think they've formed me pretty well in the last couple of months. But the thing is that they ask us questions like, "Hey, I have this and that disease. Do you think cannabis will help me?" And I say, I do think it'll help you, but this is not by no means is this medical advice, because I don't want to sit there and tell them.
I give medical advice.
I don't have an appetite.
That can
Is that
truly-
okay? Can we do that?
It's not.
Can I give legal advice too?
This is not going to kill you.
Oh, go.
It is not going to kill you. It can only help you.
So I tell
Period.
him. I tell him. I say medicate. My father was on his deathbed and he couldn't eat. He couldn't eat at all. And he started smoking cannabis and right away he was eating. 2 days later he's walking around. He had a better quality of life than he did when he was using opiates. And that's a true story. And I will preach that story. I think that's why I'm in this position today.
Dr. H, do chime in here.
Yes.
You're the MD.
I'm also an addiction specialist.
Am I right in the fact that no one's ever died from cannabis overdose?
I think that would be a question that would be best left unanswered at this point.
Really? No, we
Yes.
want to know. I mean,
I'd rather not talk about it on the air.
no. Okay.
He said, not this evening. So apparently there has been somebody.
I do have some information, but
Yeah. No, what I think he's trying to say maybe is that, doctor, is there somebody or something that would say that there's less people dying of marijuana than they are off
of course.
opiates?
Of course, but that wasn't the
Alcohol.
question. I used to treat opioid addiction.
Sure.
Also.
Sure. And so in that situation, let's jump right into this. True TV.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about that.
I'm going to be on True TV Network on October 25th. That's a Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. It's a new series. And hopefully if I get a lot of views, they'll continue me on it.
What are you
Nice.
going to be doing on that?
They're going to actually ask me about what to do if somebody has a marijuana overdose and ways to treat
This
it.
is why he didn't
so,
want to answer
so here
the
we go.
question.
So my brother once had an experience where he was given was it a hubby bar at that back then? Or was it
Hubby
a
bar.
bang? Was it
The bang bar.
A bang bar.
Triple X. I was told don't eat the whole thing. Just eat a quarter
Don't
of
eat
it.
the- But he
and I was old school, so I've been eating like homemade brownie type of stuff for years, and it doesn't really do much.
Right. Well, triple strength's about what that's. How much are those? The triple
lot.
Strength. Those 180,
Maybe
180
more.
A lot of
milligrams. I think those are 180
But
milligrams.
I was told to eat a
Yeah.
quarter of it by my son, and
Just don't mix it with mango
I
and
don't.
vitamin C.
Well,
Those-
thank God, because I don't like mango.
Okay.
So I ate a half of it instead of a quarter of it, and then 40 minutes later, nothing happened. I was at home working on the computer. I've been doing this a long time, ingesting marijuana. I'll eat the other half. About a half hour later, I was crawling to my room. I laid in bed. I thought my heart was going to explode. I thought I was going to die. And I said to myself, I knew of no person who died. It's going to pass. And I chilled out and it passed. And then that's why we preach, especially with edibles, because I don't know about actually smoking. I don't know if you can smoke enough to do that. But the edibles, oh my God, if you're not safe, you're dosing how much it is. Yeah. That's where the real education is. I think that would prevent any type of real bad experience, because I don't know anybody who's really had that bad of experience smoking, 10 joints. as opposed to ingesting the edibles.
I'll tell you what, I have a similar situation years ago, and this is many, many years ago. I had a store, a friend of mine that owned a store, and I was eating edibles at night, and he calls me up and he goes, "Hey man, my store just got raided. And I think they're coming to your house." I said, what? You're coming to my house?
You got rid of the evidence?
I was like, so they're standing right in front of you right now, right? You know what I mean? They're like, what are you talking about? He said, I think they're coming to your house. I said, no, they're not coming to my house, bro. He goes, no, I think so. And I'm sitting there, and I'm pretty off edibles. I mean, I don't eat edibles that often, so I was so high that I started getting nervous. I started making moves. And I was sitting in this room, and then I thought to myself, wait a second, hold on, calm down. Be calm. You just got to let it pass, right? Start trying to drink milk or to diffuse it, because, if you don't educate people on how much to eat, the problem is they don't know. So they're going to eat, oh, this is delicious. And they're eating down way more than their consumption. Yeah. And next thing you know, they're bouncing down Hollywood Boulevard like, dude, I'm sweating, about to have.
Well, that's why Mary Jane edibles, their dosing is right on.
Yeah.
And they go into the stores and they explain to the bud tenders what the dosing is and what the dosage is.
Yeah. And you know what else I'll tell you this is that Be Real said it best in an interview, man. I respect him for this. He says, don't forget to breathe. He says everybody forgets to breathe. He said you get so high, and then you forget to breathe, and you're just sitting there, and then boom, you pass out, and everybody's like, "What just happened?" Oh, he just fell out. We were at High Times Festival this last week, and this big dude, he was standing there, and he honestly just looked at everybody, and it just fell, and he went down, and then one of our guys is like, I was like, did you see that? He's like, I'm on the phone with 911. I'm like, okay. And then he's laying on the ground, and he snapped out of it really quickly. But again, he forgot to breathe.
Now, Dr. H, do you see
That's
people...
due to the myrcene.
What's that?
That's due partially to the myrcene, the terpene. One of the terpenes, yeah.
Okay. Brian, what is that? What does that do?
Yeah, break that down for all of us.
We hear people talk about terps and terpenes all the time, but we have no idea what they are.
Okay.
And airpenes.
So, everybody's pretty good with the cannabinoids.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
receptors.
Right. So the effect of the cannabinoids on the receptor is going to depend on what else there is with the cannabinoids. And the major players are the terpenes, because those are structurally similar to the cannabinoids. So depending on what terpenes you have with the cannabinoids at the receptors will depend on the effects. That's how we get the indica versus the sativa effects. So if you have a bunch of essential oils, which terpenes, which are essentially essential oils that are calming, then that's going to give you the indica effects. If they're uplifting and stimulating, we get the sativa effects. And if they're between the two, we're going to get the hybrid effects. I look at the indica as more calming the nervous system. So anything you want to calm the nervous system, you'd use indica effects. Sativa is more stimulating the nervous system. That's where you'd use anything you want to stimulate the nervous system, like depression.
So you get like the jitters, the uppity feel with the sativa.
Typically, yes.
The indica is something that's going to get you a little more laid out, kind of just let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when we're talking about that, that's like a mood altering, like
right. That's going to be on the CB1 receptor in the central nervous system.
Now, if people have neurologic issues or numbness, tingling in different parts of their body, is that also? What do you look at to give someone for that?
Well, it depends. We have two things to calm the nervous system. We have the indica effects, which is due to the essential oils, the terpenes, and we have the cannabinoid, the CBD, calms the nervous system. So depending on which patients, we can either use calming the nervous system with the terpenes or with the CBD or any combination. If we do too much calming, we cause people to be depressed. Also, depressing respiration would be an issue with that.
So you're saying from the cannabis, it could actually make you depressed?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then
typically it's the CBD and the indica effects, because they depress the nervous system, that cause depression. So those obviously good in anxiety.
Sure. People that have anxiety, they would medicate, calm them down a little bit, help them out.
And then people with depression would
be going more towards the sativa effects. And remember, they're all hybrids now, so you just
what if you have anxiety and are depressed?
Then that's where you go with a hybrid.
Nice.
Or you get a sativa that has.
So there's something for everyone.
Absolutely. And you've also got the different ratios of the CBD and the THC. So you can get like a strain like Harlequin that's essentially predominantly CBD strain, but it's a sativa. So you can get essential oils from a sativa, and then you can also get the CBD calming. So you've got lots of stuff you can do with this. It just takes a little bit.
Let me ask you this:
yes.
the Go ahead.
Doctor, let me ask you this. If there's something that do